Hobbies are that one area in your life where the perfectionism should be left at the door. An activity that's not just all about money and you don't have to be the best at it. It's something that you can just do without, hopefully, feeling pressure. Whatever activity you like to dedicate your time to, there's probably a community somewhere on the internet for it, however niche it might be. Entering a community online can be a very nice experience, finding people that share the same passion as you, but it can honestly also be a little bit horrifying. If you've never experienced it before, well, you're definitely in for a ride the day that you decide to do it. Communities that come together for something that's really harmless and wholesome, like for example crocheting or reading, can become surprisingly really ugly really quickly. I find that a lot of the times there are two different types of people. The ones who just enjoy the hobby and the people who build their entire identity around it. And when you involve the internet, of course, everything gets just more intensified. The moment a lot of people come together, it can quickly go into a lot of different directions. We as human beings love to judge. We love to keep score, and we love the art of performing. So when you start watching book talk videos about one of the most chill and private hobbies, because it's genuinely just you and a book, suddenly there are reading goals, pages read, books completed, all the thousands of different genres conquered, people having their own private libraries, halls that contain 20 new books every week. It stops feeling like a calming activity and almost like you're in the middle of a competitive sport. And obviously, you don't need to look at that and feel less worthy because you don't keep up with those standards. But it does feel very human to immediately feel the creeping thoughts in your head coming in, especially when reading is something that you love doing. I love it, and I did get sucked into this whole world of reading as much as humanly possible, to the point where I did lose the passion for it. I just wanted to reach a certain goal on Goodreads at the end of the year. I quickly realized that I didn't do it out of joy anymore, but just for the performance. And for who? And it's not just a reading community, it probably goes through all the different communities online, to be honest. The fitness community also immediately comes to mind. I know that it's a touchy subject because so much more comes into play. It's not just, about a hobby, but also about beauty standards and diet culture a lot of the times. When you become a part of that world because, for example, you maybe want to lose a bit of weight and gain some muscle, simple goals, not that uncommon. You have no idea about calories or macros and you go online searching for advice. You just need a teeny tiny bit of a wrong mindset or to be a tad obsessive. I know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't take long until you find people who present you an eating disorder on a silver platter, and it's so easy to get sucked into that horrifying world. Once you have data, people naturally start optimizing it. A simple walk becomes a step count, a run becomes a pace, a workout becomes a statistic. Every little thing is trackable. Your calories, your recovery, your sleep, your water intake, workout volume, rest periods. And of course, those things can be extremely helpful and it also can be fun. But with fitness, you don't put away your book. Your body is the representation and is with you 24/7. So it's easy for it to feel competitive because you can always be skinnier, more muscular, more disciplined, more optimized. Someone on the internet always seems a little more ahead of you, and when your self-worth gets tangled up in this whole performance, every missed workout starts feeling bigger than it really is. There are a lot of people online who carry dangerous messages out into the world, making others feel bad about themselves. When you live inside this internet bubble, it's really easy to forget that your body is your home and not a project that you will eventually finish. We, people on the internet, also have a huge obsession with self-improvement. I think that's one of the most important thing one can do, of course, according to the internet. So if you let anyone know that your favorite free time activity is bed rotting and Netflix, you'd get burnt by the stake. You need hobbies that aren't just about enjoyment, but something that makes you better as a human being. Reading makes you smarter, running makes you healthier, chess makes you more strategic, learning a language more cultured, journaling more self-aware. Another part of our lives that's intoxicated with our awful obsession with the art of performance. You aren't just reading, you should always be reading more. You aren't just exercising, you should be getting stronger. You aren't just practicing your guitar, you should be improving. And it's really ironic because aren't hobbies supposed to be the thing that helps us escape that mindset? You know, since you already need to reach certain grades in school, perform a certain way at work, life already has enough systems measuring our success. I don't know if you're the same as me, but whenever I involve myself in a new activity, I have to admit I love buying new things for it. Spend all my afternoons going for runs. You can now find me searching through all the websites looking for new workout sets. Now I want to start drawing. Well, of course, you will find me browsing the shelves at the art store for hours on end. When it comes to reading, you have special editions, reading journals, certain apps that track your progress, subscription boxes. For gaming, you have whole elaborate setups, desks, and the devices itself, which are really expensive. And this is a sensation that I see so much on the internet. People start placing their focus not only on the hobby itself, but on consuming related things to it. Whether you have actually done the hobby is almost secondary because you've bought the possibility of becoming the person who does do the thing. So danger lies in the fact that eventually preparation starts replacing participation. People spend more time researching keywords than writing, more time buying books than reading, more time watching fitness content than exercising. From a business perspective, this is obviously perfect. People on the internet love to sell you the idea that you are just one simple purchase away from improvement. But do you actually want to pursue this activity? Or do you just like the shopping, the watching, the thinking about it? Of course, preparation isn't bad. Researching can be extremely helpful and important, but sometimes that preparation can also feel like progress. Your brain gets a little bit of reward every time you learn something new or you purchase something. The daydream about the future you, the future musician, the artist, the runner. And we all love a good daydream since it's so easy to get stuck in this bubble. When we look up something on social media, we already see so many polished versions of people who have mastered the hobby. You know what you are supposed to look like, sound like, act like. A lot of the times the progress isn't shown, but just a social media perfect version. But learning something new is messy. You are supposed to suck at it when you start, and that's what makes it difficult. Sticking to this part where you learn the piano but you don't sound that good, where your cakes come out dry, where you can only jog for 2 minutes at a time, where your drawings look a little bit wonky. It's not about becoming this perfect version. It's about enjoying the process and having love for what you're doing. Because this is how people get better at their craft. A lot of people don't have this insane talent where they pick up an instrument and immediately sound like Mozart. They start as beginners and stick with it through the frustration and the awkward parts. You don't need the right setup or the perfect situation. Just some love for what you're doing. When we return to the topic of online communities, this ladder where people sort themselves into beginners, intermediate, advanced, real fans, casuals, people who get it, people who don't. This can create a lot of tension because obviously not everyone is on the same step and not everyone agrees on who belongs where. This is where putting others down can start to appear, not always because someone is cruel, but when someone enters a new group and might do things differently, it can feel like a threat to the standards of the group. When people invest time and identity into something, they want that investment to feel meaningful. And one of the fastest ways to preserve that feeling is comparison. I put more time into this, so I have a better understanding. I struggled more, so I earned it more. Thoughts which don't always have to be said out loud, but it can be felt by certain reactions. When you join a new club in real life, you most likely get trainers who are skilled at teaching others their passion. But online, you don't have to gently teach someone. You can correct and dismiss them, rank them instantly, all without compassion. What's supposed to be a shared space can quickly turn into a performance area where beginners feel like they're interrupting something and experts feel like they are defending something. When we, as adults, approach hobbies, it can feel like shopping for a new personality. When you ask someone about what they like to do in their free time and they tell you that they love going on hikes, they love swimming, they collect rocks, they go jet skiing, it's a social shortcut. It already tells you something about their personality. And when we look at the online world, a curated identity is easier to understand and easier to market. Your hobby becomes self-expression, then self-expression becomes self-presentation, and this turns into a performance. And quickly you turn from what do I enjoy to what kind of a person do I want to appear to be? And don't the best hobbies start with a curiosity, a random interest, a fascination, a thing that captures your attention for no particular reason? Not because it looks good or it's productive or it fits your brand, but because it's fun and it makes your heart feel a little less heavy. It's something that you'd still be interested in, even if no one knew about it. The more a community focuses on who's doing it right, the easier it becomes to forget why anyone is doing it at all.